And constitutional obligations to preserve democracy and protect the rights, freedoms, and liberties of citizens. In his address to commemorate this year's Democracy Day, the President equally pledges to do what is necessary to cement democracy as a way of life in the country. State House correspondent Musbaud Wahab reports.
And I was among those who took the risk to midwife the birth of our democracy. I am now a direct and obvious beneficiary of the fruit of those historic efforts.
Bola Tinubu is currently the man in front, living the democratic life many had dreamt of. Fulfilling or nostalgic, not so many were so fortunate, not even the principal actor regarded as the most significant symbol of a democratic struggle, Chief MKO Abiola. And now, he salutes the memories of those who did not survive the struggle and the bravery of those who stood tall against the stand of the then strongmen, including the irrepressible Nigerian journalist.
The sacrifices they made and the precious gift brought about by their selfless devotion can never be repaid nor forgotten.
Against the odds, the seed of democracy germinated, weathering the storm for 25 years and now demanding even more deliberate efforts to nurture the process which has so far birthed 7 rounds of general election and 5 presidents.
That we have established a tradition of holding transparent, open and fair elections gives credence to our democratic standing. That we have experienced peaceful transitions of government affirms our democratic temperament.
The man at the helms of affairs, now shouldering the responsibilities of not only to protect and consolidate the pricey democracy, but to also deliver its expected gains to Nigerians in form of good governance. Yet again, the President remains confident that various reforms put in place by his administration will guarantee a better future for the nation and its people.
There is no doubt that the reform has occasioned hardship. I feel your pains. Yet there are necessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay, and compensation for his endeavor and labor.
President Tinubu says his government has exemplified respect for the rights and privileges of Nigerians with the handling of labor matters and the resultant industrial action recently.
As we continue to reform the economy, I shall always listen to the people and will never turn my back on you. In this spirit, we have negotiated in good faith and with open arms with organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less.
And despite the current social and economic challenges, President Bola Tinubu wants Nigerians to share the commitment to preserve this government of the people, as well as the hope to deliver a much better Nigeria for generations to come. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the 25th Democracy Day anniversary celebration climaxed today with colorful parade to commemorate an unprecedented milestone in Nigeria's democratic journey. President Bola Tinubu was a special guest of honor at the silver anniversary celebration held at the Eagle Square, Abuja. Again, State House correspondent Musbah and Wahab reports.
1 year in office. Clearly enough for President Bola Tinubu now to celebrate the country's Democracy Day for the first time in this elaborate manner. Even more significant is the progress in the democratic journey in the country. 25 years uninterrupted and still counting. Now, no one values this feat more than the man who equally felt the consequences of seeking the government of the people under the guidance of a strong man in khaki. Yet, a certain unique figure in uniform ensured the return of democracy in 1999. 25 years down the lane, not only the political class, their guests and other Nigerians present, the men of the armed forces and the police will now take the responsibility of protecting the hard-earned democracy also made the anniversary celebration this colorful. No speech here, but the parade parties did the talking with their brilliant performances. All to the admiration of a special guest of honor and other spectators. And on this special day, no gift gets bigger for the special guest than the largest portrait ever anywhere in the world. In Abuja, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Abeokuta and by extension Ogun State occupies a significant position in the history of democratic governance in Nigeria, and that is why June 12th, Democracy Day, is celebrated with a great deal of attention in the state, as it centers around a great son of Egba land. Late Chief MKO Abiola Lekon Agbonde is at the Abiola residence in Ojagbo, Bagura area of Abeokuta, where a special prayer was held in his honor.
This prayer has become an annual ritual in Ogun State as the Abiola's residence in Okeagbo in the Bagura community of Abeokuta plays host to the delegation of the state government, Muslim Ummah and well-wishers who joined the Abiola family to offer Islamic prayer for the repose of the soul of the winner of the June 12 presidential election and posthumous president of Nigeria, Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, as well as other martyrs who paid the supreme price to lay the foundation for the 25 years of unbroken democratic governance. Ogun State Deputy Governor Noimot Salako Yedele led the government delegation to the occasion.
We are also here today celebrating 25 years of unbroken democracy in this country. This was what our father fought for. This is what he would have wanted in his lifetime. And I think this is the biggest legacy that we as Nigerians have been able to give to him.
And we are sincerely grateful that the federal government and the Ogun State government sees it as, as a time to always remember the memories of our late father, late Chief MKO Abiola, and his martyrdom.
The early morning special prayer session preceded other activities for the celebration of June 12 Democracy Day in Ogun State. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
And as we celebrate the matters of Nigeria's democracy and the struggles that made today's freedom possible, we are reminded of a hero, a champion of democracy who won the heart of a nation but was denied the chance to lead it. On June 12, 1993, Nigerians went to the polls and chose MKO Abiola as their president. However, that victory was short-lived, and what followed was a nation plunged into darkness. In this report, Nnamdi Odipo relieves the struggles of MKO Abiola and June 12, reminding us that while we relish the gains of civil liberties today, Nigeria's democracy was birthed and molded by the courage, resilience, and sacrifices of patriots like MKO Abiola.
So much has changed in Lagos State since the year 1993. But sometimes when you listen closely, you could still possibly hear some of the ghosts of June 12. In the Alakpere Ketu axis of Lagos, a giant reminder stands. Towering 46 feet above ground level, this memorial statue depicts the persona of the man caught in the center of the June 12 story.
SDP, MKO, Kingibe, action! MKO, Kingibe, SDP, progress!
It may or may not have been the TV campaign ads, but for sure, Nigerians were clearly intrigued by the man, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. The legend of MKO Abiola had spread far and wide prior to the June 12, 1993 presidential election. The streets were livelier, the people more eager. Electioneering campaigns had sparked a fire that mostly burnt out religious and ethnic preconceptions amongst Nigerian voters.
The amazing thing about it was so orderly, it was so free, visibly free, and the fairness was palpable. And we felt like heroes. Our country has done something right.
Indeed, June 12, 1993 started as a very good day. As the day progressed, it carried with it the spirit and hope of inclusiveness collectively expressed by millions of voters. The result of the June 12, 1993 presidential election was never completely released and never made official. But something which emerged from the voting pattern and was rather quite glaring was the confirmation that the voters' choice clearly went beyond ethnicity and religion.
My proud state of Kano, who had a candidate, but we felt that our candidate may not have been the best, and therefore will vote for another candidate. And that role played by Kano in delivering so many votes to the MKO Abiola is one of the positives we remember from that outcome.
It is true that the presidential election was generally seen to be free, fair, and peaceful. However, there was in fact a huge array of electoral practices virtually in all the states of the Federation.
The truth of the matter is that you do not have two sunrises in one day. Even in Africa, the sun rises only once a day, and that is the way it is. The people have made it very clear that that is what they want.
The sun did rise and set on June 12, and the accompanying darkness was frightening. The protagonist in our story was known to have said something quite profound at the time, and I quote, "Democracy came at a price, steep but totally worth the people having their say." End of quote. The June 12 story has several heroes, but one stands out. But there were many other characters at play.
In any event, there will always be the heroes and there will be the villains. But the good thing is for us to forgive and forget.
What it tells us is that history matters, that it does not matter how you act, history will take care of everything.
By sundown on June 12 and the break of dawn the next day, the story continued. The June 12 story is definitely one for posterity.
And we have in the studio with us, son of the late MKO Abiola and co-founder, MKO Abiola Center for Youth and Sports Development, Africa, Abdul Abiola. You're welcome to the studio.
And thank you for having me.
Now, so much has been said about how your late father, late Chief MKO Abiola, envisions the realization of today's democracy. Of course, not belittling the contribution of others. Now, the question is, should we be patting ourselves, on the back for where we are today democratically, considering how much sweat and blood was invested in the struggle?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that question. I would say that, I lost both my parents to this democratic struggle. But in 1993, it wasn't really it wasn't a good, we were under a military regime. People were being harassed, suppressed. You couldn't really speak your mind. That was no way to live. And I understood why my father felt that he had a duty as a Nigerian and a lover of Nigeria to, try to see if there was a way he could, change the lot of the many, the masses. His slogan was farewell to poverty. My father was a generous philanthropist. He believed that the Nigerian people were only in that position because they just didn't have opportunities. And he kept on saying that if he, by himself, just one man, he had a lot of money, but how many people do you want to help? But I think he had seen that if, the position of government, and if government were to be done in the right way, you could reach way more people. And I think that was what he was trying to get across. He would not have been the one to fix Nigeria. I think all he was trying to do was give Nigerian people, some kind of hope, a belief in themselves. And in so doing, they will be the ones to fix the country. We saw that, in some of the clips that were played ahead, where people were just basically, you heard the sentiments. People were tired of the military and they were looking for an alternative. My father went across the board, like in the north, where most people would have assumed that a southwestern person would never win. He won there, a landslide. Matter of fact, he even beat his own opponent in his local government. I don't know what more you wanted from such a person. But like I said, he played his part. He did what he had to do as a patriot, as a statesman, somebody who was ready to give his life for the country. And I think we all should try to re-engage with this democracy and understand that it belongs to all of us. We must be ready to sacrifice some things. And I lost both my parents, but I've gained a lot more. I've gained a lot of brothers and sisters that I never knew I had. But no, I mean that not from my family, but I mean from outside my family that I never knew. I go to Imo State and the love I see, the joy the smiles I see on people's faces, when they realize who I am, I can tell that, he didn't do this in vain, and he did this for people who still cherish his memory, and I thank you all for that, because it was very painful for me when it happened, but then I could understand why he did that. Fast forward 25 years, I think we can pat ourselves on the back. They have tried everything to frustrate us, but we're still here. And I think once we realize that we are the ones with the power, and we are the ones that can actually make a true difference, once we engage with the system, we need to participate, we need to be informed, we need to be educated about the issues that affect all of us. And once we do this, then my father can truly rest in peace. Because I can tell you now, he's fighting God, trying to get him to release him so he can come back and finish what he started. But like I said, I am here. Okay. I'm his son, I'm one of his sons, and my brother was also in one of your clips. We're also working hard. My sisters are working hard, trying to figure out how we can continue to give, because this is all we have. Nigeria is what we have. And I don't think there's anything that is too much to give to the country that has given me so much, a place to call home.
Thank you very much. That was indeed very inspiring. It's been a pleasure. You've been in our studio, for quite some time now. I will have to let you go at this point. Thank you so much, Abdul Abiola, son of the late MKO Abiola and co-founder, MKO Abiola Center for Youth and Sports Development Africa. It's been a pleasure having you in our studios today. Now, moving on, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, on behalf of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, felicitates with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and all Nigerians on the occasion of Democracy Day celebration. In a statement, the Chief of Defense Staff notes that the armed forces are dedicated to supporting the growth of democracy in Nigeria and collaborate with subnationals to entrench constitutional governance. General Musa acknowledges the sacrifices made by members of the armed forces in various theaters of operation across the country, which is evidence of their commitment to the unity and growth of Nigeria, and urges personnel to uphold the tenets of democracy, safeguard citizens' rights, and ensure a peaceful and secure environment for all. He also wants all Nigerians to remain positive towards the challenges being faced and to support the military in the fight against all acts of terrorism and criminality. The CDS wishes President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all Nigerians a happy and peaceful Democracy Day celebration. Vice President Kashim Shettima wants Nigerian medical practitioners to collaborate with the Tinubu administration in the ongoing efforts to reform the health sector. The Vice President made the appeal when the National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Medical Association, led by its newly elected president, Professor Bala Audu, paid him a courtesy visit at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Worried by the increasing rate of brain drain in the medical profession in Nigeria, Vice President Kashim Shettima appealed to the new leadership of the Nigerian Medical Association to resist the temptation of seeking for greener pastures abroad, but believe in the potentials in Nigeria and be part of the building process. Vice President Shettima, however, shared the position of the Nigerian Medical Association about some challenges in the health sector, but assured of the deliberate steps being taken by the Tinubu presidency to correct the wrongs in the past. The leadership of the Nigerian Medical Association is ready to partner with the federal government to ensure quality health care to all Nigerians.
We remain part of the pillar of the delivery of this quality care, and as patriotic Nigerians, we have come to declare our patriotism to ensure that we dedicate ourselves to ensuring that the efforts of this government in delivering this quality healthcare is achieved.
Applauding the health policies of the Tinubu administration, the health experts noted that when fully implemented, the programs initiated by the association will increase the training opportunities for specialists in the health profession in the country, as well as quality of postgraduate medical trainings. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has commended the efforts of Zibaset Group Limited in the creation of 40,000 jobs and development of the Abuja Industrial Park. The Vice President expressed the federal government's appreciation while interacting with journalists shortly after undertaking a tour of the company's site at Idu, Abuja, saying the project aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's industrialization drive. He also inspected the production line at the company's plastic pipe factory in the area, applauding their vision for creating 40,000 jobs in about 200 factories, assuring that the Tinubu administration remains committed to encourage investors doing business in Nigeria.
With the infrastructure, with the roads, a railway line that will pass through this industrial zone, and this portends, this is harbinger of greater things to come for the Nigerian nation. And Zeba said needs to be celebrated, needs to be encouraged. I will update my principal with what I saw, and be rest assured that we are going to secure for them every government support needed.
This is a big opportunity for us. We want to also do the similar industrial parks in different states. So 250 million population we have, and we are importing most of the goods from abroad. We want to decrease of this value, and we want to use our own sources.
The managing director assured the people that the project will reduce brain drain as a huge number of the productive population will be engaged. As Nigeria marks 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, residents of Ibadan have been expressing divergent opinions on the state of affairs in the country. Some say there are results to show. Ayomiku Ajibola reports.
The 29th of May 2024 was the 25th year of Nigeria's return to civil rule, marking the silver jubilee of Nigeria's democratic dispensation. The celebration was, however, shifted to June 12th in commemoration of the 1999 presidential election purportedly won by the late Chief MKO Abiola. Ironically, the June 12, 1993 election, which was described as the freest, fairest, and the most peaceful election since Nigeria's independence, was annulled. The question here is, how has democracy fared in Nigeria in the last 25 years?
What we can celebrate, of course, is our unity. The fact that we are still together. There have been threats to our corporate coexistence, but we've been able to manage ourselves through. Yes, of course, there have been challenges, but the fact that we are still a nation, so that's something to really celebrate. 25
years into this fourth republic, the country has had 7 general elections, 5 presidents, with 2 political parties, namely the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressive Congress, APC, rolling at the center. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
We link up now with Ayomiku in Ibadan to tell us more on what Nigerians are saying about the gains of democracy the past 25 years and how to leverage the achievements. Ayomiku, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Ifoma. Celebrating 25 years of uninterrupted democratic dispensation from 1999 till date is indeed a milestone in the history of Nigeria. But the question here is, are there any gains in the last 25 years? To talk on this, I have with me an elder statesman and former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, Ambassador Yemi Farombi. Sir, 25 years just like yesterday. Any gains so far?
Certainly. The fact that we have remained a united nation, the fact that we have been able to transit between one government to the other, a government of the same party to another, like Obasanjo to Yar'Adua, like Buhari to Tinubu, and we're able to transit from another party to the other, like Jonathan to Buhari. But in addition to that, our president quoted today, President Roosevelt, who said that the only way is democracy. He also went for that to say that there are 4 gains you can get from democracy. And I think we've done substantially well in that. The first one is freedom of speech and expression. And I think Nigeria has perhaps the best in Africa when it comes to freedom of speech and expression. That is a plus for us. The second is freedom of worship. And I think substantially we have done that, although we sometimes have intrusions from Boko Haram, Islamic State of West African province, but generally we can boast that we have freedom of worship. The third is freedom from want, and that's the one we are tackling. That is economic. Yeah, we know that we have 132 million multidimensional poor people, but the economy had to keep on growing, and the government is doing everything to restructure the economy to make sure that we can get a plus in that. Okay. And the fourth, which is the final one, is freedom from terror. Of course, we have terrorists, and this government and earlier governments have done well in the northeast. They've almost decapitated.
All right, finally, sir, briefly, what is a message of hope to Nigerians? Briefly.
I believe there's a lot to hope for. We are a nation in the making. There's no democracy that has reached the conclusion. They are always in the making. So long as we don't give up on Nigeria, so long as we support ourselves and we support our leadership and our leadership is committed to all, Nigeria is on the go.
Thank you very much, former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, Ambassador Yemi Farombi, speaking to us on the gains of our uninterrupted democratic dispensation in the last 25 years. Ifoma.
Much indeed, Ayomiku. It's been nice listening to the elder statesman. Thank you very much. And let's take our first break on Nationwide. The news continues in a moment. Stay with us.
Stereotype held about witches.
They are very wicked. They have long nails. Cats and birds are witches. They had meetings at night.
They hold meetings at night! Mention something one can get easily addicted to.
Bad boys.
Betting. That's the way go tell me. Tosi don't bet before. I love it. This round is a confession round. Name something that needs to be charged.
A vibrator.
A vibrator.
Good answer, good answer, good answer.
Cynthia. That's not a bad girl. I like it.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undoubted demand, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Each ethnicity is unique, we are more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, strengthened in unity. We know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Thanks for staying tuned. We now join Amaka O in Lagos, and she's standing by around Moshood Abiola Monument in Lagos. She'll be giving us a feel of happenings around there. Amaka.
For joining us. Of course, you know that Lagos is very important in the democratic struggle in Nigeria, and today different activities have taken place earlier before now. We had some elder statesmen in Nigeria and concerned Democrats who had an event earlier to honor Chief MKO Abiola, who can be described as the hero of modern day democracy. They had speeches made thanking him for all efforts and the struggle back then in 1993. And they also made way to his home, his resting place, where they lay wreath and made set prayers. And they also called on Nigerians to also continue to sustain our 2 decades of untruncated democracy. Recall that the review and change in the date of the Democracy Day was actualized by former President General Muhammadu Buhari on June 7th, 2018. And he conferred the national honors, the highest honors, on posthumous honors on the late Chief MKO Abiola. That's the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, alongside his then running mate in the SDP Social Democratic Party, Baba Gana Kingibe, and also national honors on another hero of modern day democracy, Chief Gani Fawemi of blessed memory, senior advocate of Nigeria. And you can recall that June 12th laid the foundation of what we enjoy today, the unbroken democracy, because that was the day Nigerians trooped out en masse to register their votes and voted the candidates of their choice. And it was said that the Chief MKO Abiola won that election that was annulled. And he made a declaration on the day called the Ekpetedo Declaration.
Thank you very much, Amaka. We seem to have lost her there, but then we thank her for giving us a feel of June 12th celebration in Lagos today. And as Nigeria celebrates 25 years anniversary of uninterrupted democracy, the African Democratic Congress says to become democratically stable, democracy must be nurtured and preserved as the best form of government. This was at the one-day leadership confab in commemoration of Democracy Day with the theme, Raising Democratic Leaders for a Prosperous Nigeria.
So it is time we start, joining a political party, get our voters card, and participate actively in political processes.
The youth say the more than 2 decades of working democracy is worth celebrating and appreciate the political class for having embraced the rectitude of nurturing a democracy as well as a civil society. They urge all political stakeholders to continue to do their bit to ensure the sustainability of the nation's democracy. A group, the Asiwaju for One Nigeria, has urged the federal government to sustain the renewed hope gains beyond 2027 as a sure way to enhance economic growth and development. The group was speaking at an event to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Nigeria's democracy and to commend the Tinubu's presidency over quality delivery of infrastructure and other achievements.
Marked by serving election cycles and peaceful transitions of power, including from ruling to opposition parties, both at the federal and state levels. This achievement is a testimony that democracy is gradually taking root in Nigeria and was celebrating. Over the past 1 year, the federal government, under President Tinubu's leadership, has rolled out commendable socio-economic policies focused on growth, economic rehabilitation, infrastructural development, national security enhancement, employment, and citizens' empowerment.
The Asiwaju for One group also wants the federal government to prioritize employment opportunities for young Nigerians and revive ailing sectors for rapid socio-economic transformation. The Office of the President of the Senate describes as mischievous the circulation of posters in some parts of Kaduna State associating the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, with a supposed El-Rufai 2027 political ambitions. A statement from the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity stresses that Senator Akpabio does not have any intention of contesting for president in 2027, nor is he nursing any ambition of a joint presidential ticket with El-Rufai or any person. The statement adds that Senator Akpabio is currently preoccupied with providing required legislative support to President Tinubu to reset Nigeria and make the nation regain its pride of place in the Committee of Nations. The statement urges the public to disregard the information and calls on security agencies to unravel the promoters of the campaign. In furtherance of Nigeria's bid to host the Africa Energy Bank headquarters, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources is interfacing with heads of mission of African Petroleum Producers Organization member states in Abuja. The interaction is a call for action as well as an appeal to support Nigeria's bid. Lydia Sampson reports.
This interface is about embarking on a journey with a renewed vigor and determination, united in common resolve to chart a course towards a brighter, more sustainable energy future for Africa. Nigeria is seeking to be on the driver's seat to host the African Energy Bank. Here, the message is clear, with all stakeholders on the same page, as the reasons why Nigeria stands suitable to host the bank headquarters are reeled out.
By selecting Abuja as its host city, the African Energy Bank can serve as a linchpin of connectivity, fostering collaboration and catalyzing progress in a commercial scale.
Time has come now for Nigeria to say, look, yesterday when we were talking about the issue of the headquarters of Apple, we willingly gave to Congo. But it's also important that, look, we engage the rest of our poor members and appeal to you to please support Nigeria to host the headquarters of the African Energy Bank.
These stakeholders are not unmindful of the fact that they are standing on the precipice of a transformative opportunity that holds immense promises, not only for Nigeria, but for the entire African continent. This is because establishing the African Energy Bank represents a bold and strategic move towards ensuring energy security, fostering economic growth, and promoting sustainable development across Africa. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, in response to recent concerns raised by the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria regarding the treatment of civilian workers at Command Secondary School Iyani Paja, ordered investigation into the allegation. Director Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, in a statement says the Army Chief has directed the Provost Marshal to investigate the alleged abuse of a civilian staff at the Command Secondary School and ensure justice for all parties involved. The statement adds that the Nigerian Army recognizes the role civilian staff play in supporting its operations and is dedicated to fostering a conducive working environment for all personnel. The National Youth Service Corps NYSC says one of the two remaining prospective corps members kidnapped in Zamfara in August last year has been rescued. This was achieved by the combined efforts of security agencies led by the officers and men of 2 battalions under 1 division of the Nigerian Army, Kaduna. A statement by the NYSC Director, Information and Publicity, Eddie Megwa, states that with these, a total of 7 out of the 8 corps members have so far been rescued. It further adds that efforts are still ongoing to secure the safe release of the remaining male prospective corps member who is still in the custody of the kidnappers. Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Yushau Ahmed, while appreciating the gallant efforts of the Nigerian Army and other security agencies, advised all prospective and serving corps members to avoid night journeys and be security conscious at all times. President Bola Tinubu congratulates the chairman and publisher of Vanguard Media Limited, Sam Amuka Pemu, on the occasion of his birthday. President Tinubu joins family, friends, and the Nigerian media community to celebrate a pace-setter, an imitable man of letters, and a bastion of journalism. The president salutes Pa Amuka for his service to the nation through the artistry of his pen and intellect, and for his contributions to the media and beyond, commending the elder statesman for his courage and unbending disposition to the pristine values of truth and justice. The president prays for many more years in good health for the esteemed journalist and his family. And it's now time to go over to our Makurdi Network Center for more reports on Nationwide with Fatima as our guide. Good to see you, Fatima, and happy Democracy Day.
To Ifoma, happy Democracy Day to all Nigerians out there, and welcome to Makurdi. Governor Hyacinth Ali of Benue State says plans are underway to dredge River Benue as a catalyst for boosting agricultural activities and ease the movement of products. He said this at the event to mark the 2024 Democratic Day celebration held at the IBB Square, Makurdi. Elias Etiaf has more.
Activities marking the 2024 Democracy Day celebration commenced with a road walk by the governor from the government house to the IBB Square. Governor Hyacinth Ali, who used the opportunity to present his one-year scorecard to the people of the state, said much achievements have been recorded in several sectors of the economy in line with the present administration's 7-point agenda. He highlighted some of the areas of transformation to include the timely procurement of agricultural inputs such as tractors, fertilizers, as well as incentives and construction, renovation and rehabilitation of several projects. The governor disclosed that over 400-kilometer roads will be flagged off for construction in all the 23 local government areas of the state, adding that the state government will procure motorcycles and tricycles for which will be distributed to beneficiaries at subsidized rates.
We have struck a public-private partnership PPP deal with Star Fertilizer Company Limited in order to revive the state-owned fertilizer blending plants. This is in addition to our kick-starting of phased development of Ikogen cattle range. Meanwhile, plans are in Turkey towards dredging the river Benue as a catalyst for boosting agricultural activities and easy movement of agricultural products.
He assured the people of the state that his administration is committed to turning around the fortunes of the state, including the revamping of moribund companies like the Terraco Mills and the Benue Breweries Limited. In Makurdi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
On youth development in Benue State, 10,000 youths shortlisted for the Digital Skills Initiative in Benue State have commenced training to equip them with information and communication technology skills. Correspondent Elias Itiav again reports that the initiative is to make them self-reliant and to create job opportunities.
These trainees are part of the 10,000 youths across Benue State enlisted to undertake the Digital Skills Program, also known as the Benue Tech Skills, to build their ICT knowledge and in the process create an estimated 50,000 job opportunities upon completion of their program. They are currently being trained in ICT-related backgrounds with essential digital skills.
The modules are arranged in such a way that they are sent to us via email, which we study at home. Then, in class here, we're able to discuss what we've been able to read online.
When you do something and you are sure that that thing is safe, you really want to continue to do that thing. Individual companies need to be sure that their information is secure.
Trainers of the Benue Tech Skills say the program represents economic growth and youth empowerment generation in the ICT sector.
The whole essence of this is to prepare the Benue youth for the global economy. And post-training, we already have conversations and arrangements in place to connect them to amazing opportunities globally. So this is some sort of talent export that the state government is working on, and this will also improve the livelihood of youths in Benue State.
What the governor is doing is not just to train people. People may say that it's just training people and all that. He has already have a lot of collaboration for job for people that are going to do this successfully and not just about certificate but get their certificate, which is knowing.
The Benue Tech Skills Training Program is to last for 6 months. In Makurdi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
And that's it from Makurdi. Nationwide continues with Ifoma in Abuja.
Many thanks, Fatima. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, is training key players in the sector towards catching up on developmental trends. Zerent Dingmun reports that distance learning is one of the peaks of technology globally, making learning more accessible and less cumbersome for both learners and educators.
At the dawn of each day is a new technological innovation with the aim of improving living standards of humans. Key players are here gathered to critique and adopt the draft standalone national policy on open distance e-learning in Nigeria, with scholars from across the country to lead discussions on the way forward. And Nigeria, they say, has all the advantages in terms of demographics and skills to leverage on for the goal to be achieved.
The flexibility which people have when they go through the ODL program, that's a very key element of it. And once they have the assurance that what they're getting is actually as good, why not? So we are strengthening the mechanism for delivery of those courses.
I'd like to challenge all stakeholders present to bring to bear their wealth of experience and expertise to see that these guidelines take global outlook with local relevance in the Nigerian higher education.
This policy we wish to enact should strive to be inclusive and equitable.
The consensus here is that, at the end of this engagement, Nigeria should be well on its way to having a more comprehensive open-distance e-learning policy. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmoon, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration takes a bold step towards inclusivity, committing to empower 5,000 persons with disabilities annually through the Beyond Disability project, unlocking their potential and promoting equal opportunities for all. Gufan Shaju Gwanyi reports.
The project is a testament to President Tinubu's unwavering dedication to creating a society that values and includes everyone. Through talent discovery and development, skill acquisition, educational support programs, and mentorship, persons with disabilities will gain the tools they need to succeed.
We assure you that this project is dedicated to improving your life and empowering you to reach your full potential. We believe that everyone deserves equal opportunity, and we are committed to making that a reality through this Beyond Disability project.
This program will create scholarship and bursary support for persons with disability.
Today's unveiling of the logo represents a movement that seeks to break down barriers and create opportunities for persons with disabilities. In Abuja, Gufan Shaj Ugwanyi, NTA News.
Let's now quickly go to our Port Harcourt Network Center, where Dibabari is standing by with more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Dibabari.
To Port Harcourt. For the first time in Nigeria's history, democracy has been the system of government for unbroken 25 years without interference. In this report, Emmanuel Lene, who spoke with a cross-section of Port Harcourt residents, reports that the people are of the view that years of uninterrupted democracy has resulted in very positive outcomes.
After several failed attempts since independence in 1960 to establish democratic tenets as Nigeria's governance model, Nigeria is experiencing 25 years of unbroken democracy. This was largely due to military incursions and seeming attempts by the military to correct the wrongs of the political class. However, since the present democratic experience in 1999, Nigeria has continued to improve on its governance process despite the challenges still confronting the system.
If Nigeria has survived 25 years, so we believe that another 25 years we would have been through this phase and go into, a better Nigeria, because some of these nations we used to compare Nigeria have lived over 100 years, like America and the rest of them.
Democracy is a good thing, and it is what every decent society should yield for. When we bring it down to Nigeria, I think democracy has given Nigeria opportunities to understand that self-rule is what every government needs.
From perceived godfatherism, ethnic and religious bigotry, political experts and analysts believe that the present democratic rule far outweighs military dictatorship.
Nigeria should work mostly on INEC and judiciary, so the government will be more stronger than what we have now.
I know that if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would implement all he have in mind, INEC would be better. Results will be transmitted real time. And if results are transmitted real time, then we'll have a better Nigeria.
Despite the challenges still experienced in advancing Nigeria's democracy, many are optimistic that the future is bright as efforts are being intensified by the present administration towards improving on the mistakes of the past. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ifoma for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Dibabari, and that will be all on Nationwide for today. We thank you for being part of it. And do remember that at the top of the hour, our Democracy Day special studio resumes. And that's it. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Bye for now.